You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Season 1 final round for the Invitational of the ETS here for Day 1. There will be Day 2, obviously. I am Gabe, also known as Calimdir, and here with me is LocoPojo to break down this final round of elimination matchups in the Swiss.
Oh man, we got a crazy series of rounds so far, and this is no exception. We finally got childroland on Argenport mid-range. This is that version with the 4 Crown Watch traders that we were talking about previously, with the Inquisitor's Blades and all of that fun stuff early on. Otherwise, it doesn't differ too much from other lists. It runs those Finest Hours, which are always pretty solid cards, and if you can actually get that going, that's always a pretty sizable setup. On the other side, we have lv13david running 4 Deep Forge plates in the FJP plate list, which is a crazy time. It can be absolutely delightful to see this deck go off. It's a little bit shaky early game, but the aggression that it gets if it gets all of its influence together is almost completely unmatched, and Deep Forge Plate is such a huge bomb late in the game. I think this deck has got a pretty good chance of taking it if it needs to. I don't know. I think I'm favoring the mid-range list overall here, but there's a lot to play with.
You know, I'm really favoring the Justice mid-range deck with weapons, personally.
Justice mid-range with weapons? Yeah, I can sort of see it.
Yeah. So this matchup is really interesting because both of these decks are just trying to play a unit, protect it, put big things on it, attack you in the air. But turns out they both can interact with each other because they're both doing the same thing. So this is really interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. I think maybe what I don't know. I think maybe David has an edge just because they might make the bigger flyer, but maybe Sabotage and things like that will give Bruce Begot an edge. As players get in here, David has kind of an awkward hand, but can play out just about everything in it. Oh, actually, so it doesn't have the second Justice, so it can only play these Cotons.
Yeah, on Roland's side, his hand's also kind of awkward, but for different reasons. He mostly just doesn't have much to play with early, so he's looking at some 3-drops, a little bit of aggression, nothing too crazy. If he gets the Tavrod down and the Tavrod is unopposed, that can mean a huge amount of difference.
Yeah, so there's a plate pretty far away from that, and Tavrod is probably going to run away with the game based on what we see in hands right now. But obviously, we don't know. David could just draw a Vanquish immediately or something like that. But yeah, so there's the weapon on a unit as geez, David just only drawing 2 power. This game might come to an early end here because of that.
Yeah, that's not gonna go well for David. We see the Tavrod is available for childroland. If you're not dealing with the 6/6 Valkyrie, you're probably not dealing with the Tavrod either. So David's in a lot of trouble. He's already got like 1 Cothan Silence. That's just a very quick game 1.
Yep. He needed to draw exactly Justice Source there, undepleted Justice Source, or he just didn't have a game. And David scoops it up, and they move on to sideboards. So, unfortunate game 1, but sometimes that happens.
Sometimes.
But let's take a look at sideboards on David's side. What does he have to bring in here that looks enticing to you?
Okay, so David's got the access to Auric Runehammer, which is an okay card against certain cards. I don't know, it's not great against Roland's deck because it's not good against traders or brokers. So it's a little bit tough to throw that in, but he can probably definitely roll the 1 Vanquish and probably the Permafrosts, maybe even the Islands Interventions to counter Slays. If he gets that set up, he's probably in a lot better shape, but it's going to be a little bit tricky either way.
Yeah, I like all the 1 power interaction. I think Islands Intervention, Finest Hour, and Permafrost are all fine just because of the tempo advantage you can get in this. I mean, we can see, we can imagine a scenario where you know, just turn 2, 2-drop, and then turn 2, another 2-drop plus 1 power interaction, blow out their entire play. That's the kind of plays that win you the game in these sort of matchups. But it's also the kind of matchup where you get to turn 4 and you board stall for a second, and then somebody just puts a plate on, and it doesn't matter. So it's debatable. The other card I'm really interested in is Champion of Fury, depending on how aggressive this can get, but I think that's probably for more controlling matchups.
Yeah, Champion of Fury can certainly get a pile done in the sort of like aggressive strategy, but I'm not sure if he's all that worried about aggression against Argenport midrange. That deck has a lot of life gain to sort of help itself out. So in most situations, it can actually stabilize in some pretty key ways.
So what do you like from Bruce by God's side? Or excuse me, Child Roland's side?
From Child Roland's side, I think that he's probably going to want to bring in his own Auric Runehammers just to set up a little bit better against most of David's more aggressive stuff. And if he gets that going, that's going to be a pretty big deal. Beyond that, I'm not sure if there's anything too crazy that he can work with. He's got a reasonable amount of stuff going on, but it looks like he's probably not going to find... I mean, he gets the Vanquishes if he wants them. He gets to run Protects or Sabotages. I'm not sure if there's anything here that's super amazing, but all of it's reasonably good.
I think Vanquish is the standout for me. Protect is probably unnecessary. You have enough threats. They're the deck that really wants Protect more. You can go a bit wider. I don't think you need the extra Inquisitor's Blade. I think you can just you're just trying to play more units than they are. Let them go all in on the Voltron plan, and you can just answer that with your Valkyrie Enforcers, your Auric Runehammers, and your Vanquishes.
Yeah, I'm always a little worried about a card that doesn't work against any one single unit in top deck, but if it does get like that 3 or 2-for-1 advantage against David, that's pretty critical. I feel like most of the time that's just going to pop an Aegis on a Shelterwing Rider, and then that Rider's going to come in with a Deep Forge Plate, so it's a little bit tricky to see if Vanquish comes in here or not.
Yeah, it doesn't hit anything until it has a plate on it, which is pretty important to note.
So David looking at enough power and influence to get started here. He's got 3 Deep Forge Plates, so he's not too worried about Permafrost or anything crazy. Well, not that the Argenport deck is going to be playing Permafrost,
but just in case, he's prepared.
Yeah, no, as long as he doesn't run into any of the 4 Slays or Annihilates or anything crazy, he can just kill his opponent with a single Valkyrie Enforcer.
Yeah, put 15/15 worth of power on that Valkyrie Enforcer. Go to town. What's the worst that could happen?
Yep, Roland does have the Slay ready to go, so it's unlikely that David's going to take the game with a single unit, but if he can actually find something else to play that can draw that Slay away, yeah, the Vanquish is in here, so Roland's got answers.
So what does he... Okay, he's going to play the Valkyrie Enforcer. I like that. Just shut off the draw early and play the unit that can actually attack into this.
Yeah, Roland's Runehammers are really, really good here. Like, this is straight up kill on the first unit. It's a straight up kill on the second unit. It prevents David from developing his Deep Forge Plates. David's in so much trouble here. He gets to play Kothan as a blocker for the Runehammer. And then once that's done, he's down to top deck units against Slay Vanquish. That's not going to happen. I think he might have lost this game already.
Yeah, I think Runehammer is just too good against level 13 David's strategy. The more I think about the matchup, the Runehammers just really shifted in Roland's favor. Obviously, you could just not draw Runehammers, and then I'm not sure how it goes. But
yeah, it hits everything but Shelterwing Rider. If David draws a Shelterwing Rider...
Well, he's got a lot of armor, and 13 health is just the magic number for level 13 David. Both times, just picking it up right there. He knows when he needs to be, and that is a quick 2-0. That's going to be Child Roland advancing to day 2 at 4-3, and that's going to be our first match over. Wow, level 13 David.
Crushed beneath the weight of the plate.
Yep, just crushed by the dinner plate there.
Oh, Deep Forge Plate seems like it is such a ridiculously good card, but it does lose you those games in very specific circumstances where you draw it and it just doesn't pair that well against removal. So, like, yeah, it is a rough time when that happens to you, and sad for it to happen to David in that round.
Yeah, so we're gonna see if we can come in and with a backup match. I think all of our other matchups are still going on. That was super fast.
Oh yeah, that was one of the fastest 2-0s we've seen.
Yeah, so congratulations to David for taking 3 wins in the Invitational and doing as well as they did and making it to the Invitational. David has made it to many Invitationals. So.
Oh yeah, he's been around forever, and he's been a very solid player all the way through. It's really, really cool that we still see him in high-level tournaments.
Yeah, and obviously congratulations to Child Roland for advancing, and we will see more of them tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to just see if I can see what's going on in these other matchups.
Yeah, we're looking at potential for Cresselia Manu S, but it looks like that just ended 2-0 for Manu S, so Manu S will be advancing if our information is correct. We're still verifying that for sure, but it's looking pretty good for Manu S. So we might go into a game with DrPringles versus Pupicitus, and that'll be a lot of fun if we can get it up.
I'm currently watching Unearthly versus Magikarp myself, and it's very exciting. But I think, yeah, we're gonna go watch DrPringles versus Pupicitus. And I don't think we've seen DrPringles on stream.
No, I don't think that we have. We're looking for that match now, and if we can set that up, it'll be pretty good deal. Certainly, both players have some potential to win. Let's see what the score is and whether or not we can get that in on us.
Yeah, so Pupicitus we saw playing Argenport, and DrPringles is on the Fire Justice Shadow deck, which was basically the finals of the World Championships last year, and we saw Argenport lose that matchup. So and I don't expect the matchup has changed. I still think it's in favor of the FJS deck.
Yeah, that could be very, very solid stuff. If you get that FJS deck running, then it's a pretty solid way to get moving. Pringles is looking like, yeah, straight armory to rock and roll. Neither player is currently in game yet. Looks like they are waiting for the next round, or at least doing sideboarding for their next round. And once that happens, we can jump into that game and we can play a little bit, or watch them play a little bit.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. So who do you think has the advantage post board here?
I'm pretty into the FJS setup. I think that is probably going to be the option that gives the best answers to what's going on and just gives you a lot more control. Typically, that deck has decent sideboards and can actually push in for a little bit after things are going. Pupicitus is already 1-0, so he's got a pretty good chance of taking the next one.
Okay, well, the FJS deck that DrPringles is playing is not what I thought it was. I was thinking it was more what Kamado was playing, but it actually has the full 4 Rakano Artisans. It's playing Sword of Ikaria, Runehammer, Daisho.
Classic armory.
Yeah,
good
interesting.
Stuff.
But still playing at least 3 Ikarias, only playing 1 Smuggler's Dash. So I think Sword of Ikaria is just so bad versus Argenport, but the overall strategy of just Throne Wardens, Runehammers, Rises, Ikarias is still very strong versus Argenport. So
yeah, it's nice to be able to kill those Rip Knife Assassins, Auric Interrogators, Unseen Commandos. You can hit a lot of things with Sword of Ikaria, but it is true that it is a little bit slow and a little bit clunky and doesn't deal that well with Crown Watch Traders or Tau Rods. So it's a tricky setup.
Yeah. So still don't have players in game yet.
Nope, just sitting tight, hanging around, seeing what else we can do. How did you do in the draft event, Calimdir?
Well, I've only played 2 drafts.
Likewise.
My first draft, I drafted a lot of 3-1s for 2 in Stone Scar.
Nice.
And I started out 3-0. Then I
good stuff.
Then I lost 4 games in a row.
Oh.
And then I won 3 games in a row.
Oh, roller coaster ride. All right, yeah. Pretty good stuff.
And then my second draft, I was like, all right, let's do something a little more controlling. Oh, Channel a Tempest, cool. Oh, a bunch of 3/4 flyers for 4 that can only attack if you have armor. It's probably fine. So we played Huru Control. I won 3 matches in a row. I lost 4 matches in a row. I won 3 matches in a row.
Nice.
So
yeah, it looks like
we're 6-4, 6-4.
Yeah, someone apparently cut a screen cap of me at exactly 420, but we're actually in equal spots. I'm looking at our leaderboards, and you are actually the spot above me, 482 and 483 right now. So,
yep,
might be able to claim those. We'll have to do one more round. I'll definitely be streaming that hopefully later today. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we just got word that Unearthly was eliminated. He lost 1-2 to Magikarp. So that's going to be Magikarp moving on to day 2. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, excellent work from him, and should be a pretty cool game if he can get to the next one. Okay, are we... No,
yeah, players are in-game from what I can see here, and Pupicitus has already started playing. We have Pupicitus playing Argenport Instigators out with DrPringles answering them with sort of Icaria, and Pupicitus has brought in Inquisitor Moctos, which I think greatly improved the matchup.
Yeah, we see a reasonable amount of stuff going in here. Like that Mocto is pretty cool. Oh, he's got the sweet premium version too, which is always nice. Mocto looks sweet as a premium. I really like that art.
How dare you talk nice about Mocto? Don't you know what he did to Icaria? How dare you?
Spoilers. Yeah, like I think it's gonna be storyline of Eternal's getting really interesting. DrPringles playing a wanted poster into Torch here. That's a pretty good combo for him. He gets a reasonable amount of removal up. He gets to draw some cards and stabilize his power. I think he's going to be pretty happy with that result.
Yeah, I think this Stature Maiden is just going to be really rough for Pupicitus, although he does have the Orc Runehammer to just clean that up. Second Maiden, though, I'm not sure that Pupicitus is going to be able to get through that.
Yeah, sort of Icaria kills the 3/3 here and gets a War Cry. Pringles is hurting a little bit. He doesn't have access to the card that he most needs, which is to say he doesn't have a 5th power. And if he finds power 5, he can actually play a couple of things and get something done. But until that happens, it's going to be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, he's going to be taking 4 here for at least a turn or 2. Because the Sword of Icaria is really the only play that he has available to him unless he wants to slay. I suppose he could slay and then Sword of Icaria next turn, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, we see a decent amount of stuff going on. Like Pringles can throw a couple of cards out here. Like yeah, he's only playing 1 card a turn, and that's a problem when Armory has a weapon and a unit down because you're definitely threatened by one or the other. And Rakano Artisan doesn't help his board position at all, but it does kind of help against Auric Runehammer.
Yeah, it helps his board position because it deals with the Runehammer. And I think that's fine. I think you can wait on the Slays and the Sword.
Yep.
But Mocto, Pupicitus drawing the undepleted power for Mocto, just the curve out might be a little too much. I was thinking Pringles had the advantage because he does have a lot of great answers, and if he can draw some power, I definitely see them taking over the game, but they're just super behind in tempo now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here that's not going to work out. Pringles is just hurting really bad. He's got the Slays, he's got the Statuary Maiden. If he plays Statuary Maiden, it's going to get Silence, which means that Mocto doesn't die forever, which is really what Pupicitus wants, or what Pringles wants to happen. If he can get to Icaria, that would be great, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, not by any means. Didn't draw power again, which means, I mean, obviously, DrPringles does not know what's in Puppy's hand, so doesn't know how bad the Statuary Maiden play would be, but I mean, obviously knows that it's not going to block 2 flyers anytime soon.
Yeah, I like the Sword here just to set up against Sword of Icaria, or set up against the Valkyrie and get himself a potential advantage on board later. Pupicitus finds a Gem Blade, which he puts out on Mocto. That's going to be a pretty easy slay. More likely, he'll play out his other 2 units and force Pringles to go on defense.
Although he's probably worried about a potential Harsh Rule.
Yeah, a potential Harsh Rule could be pretty scary. He's got the Mocto to survive it, so he can play pretty loosely into Harsh Rule if he needs to. It does mean some card advantage lost, but Mocto is sort of an infinite amount of advantage engineering, and if he can just continue to pressure here, Pringles is still stuck on 4. You want to be aggressive while your opponent's stuck.
I don't know. I'm not sure that 1 Mocto somewhere in the top 10 cards of your deck is enough to beat an Armory deck going into the late game.
It's hard to say for sure. Armory is certainly stacked on cards and ready to rock and roll right now, so it's going to be a little bit going. But we do know that Pringles has got a lot of other things going on in his hand. He's got an Icaria already in hand. See, she's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing bad happened to her at all.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Players are giving this a think for a minute here. I'm trying to pull up Puppy's deck because I had it up earlier, but yeah, because if I recall correctly, this is the non-Inquisitor Blade version. Yes, so this is the version with Impending Doom, only 2 traders, no Inquisitor's Blade, and then the sideboard he has the Moctos, which is good here, Runehammer, which is okay. I mean, it's a weapon which is hard for Armory to deal with sometimes, and is good against Throne Warden. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like bringing that in.
Pupicitus is
we saw.
thinking very hard about this turn. He's either got to commit to Harsh Rule or he's got to commit to the possibility of a Slay. I feel like Slay is the committing to the possibility of the Harsh Rule is probably better than the other option, but I don't know. He's got to make some kind of move.
Yeah, I think there's probably some complication on one of the players' ends.
Some sort of disconnect, perhaps. Yeah, it's quite possible.
It's a real nail clipper. I mean, nail biter of a match here.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, I'm not going to live this down for a little while, am I? So we have...
Hey, I was apparently eating on audibly on stream, so what can you do? A man's got to eat. A human has got to eat.
Yeah, at some point in time.
I went to the kitchen and I just grabbed just a slice of like some bread from a baguette, and that was it. That's all I could manage in the short time frame between matches.
Yeah, I can't resist playing.
So fight me, chat. All right, I'll eat what I want when I want. So it seems Puppy has gone offline. Perhaps there's something wrong with their internet.
Okay,
so that would be the delay.
Yeah, it would be unfortunate if he had to like drop or anything else happen, but we'll hold on for a little while.
Perhaps we can check on. Nope, all the other matches have finished. So. Child Roland beat level 13 David, as we saw, 2-0, advancing to day 2. Magikarp beat Unearthly 2-1. Manu S beat Crysalio 2-0, and Alarmadillo beat Herod 2-1.
Yeah, does that mean Unearthly is not breaking to the finals here?
Yeah, so Unearthly is not in the finals.
All right, duly noted. Okay, so yeah, it's a pretty crazy pile of setups there. There's going to be a lot of cool people in the Invitational tomorrow. I encourage you guys to tune in. Should be a ton of fun. Yeah, so we are looking at...
there may even be one of these players that we're looking at right now in the finals tomorrow.
At this rate, it might be Pringles.
Yeah, potentially. I think if we get back into this game, I feel very strongly that Pupicitus is favored just because of how slow Pringles' hand is, unless Pringles rips undepleted power into undepleted power.
Yeah, he's got a Mocto of his own, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Pringles Mocto. Once you pop, you cannot hide!
If he plays Mocto, though, that's answered with that Enforcer, and he's still taking quite a bit of damage for a few turns. But yeah, we will get back to you in just a moment. This is our last match, so there isn't really much for us to cover. So I think we're just gonna be here for a minute, and we're gonna try to give you coverage of this last match before we, send it off, before we just end the stream, because there's nothing else to show you guys. So until then...
Yeah, it seems like Pupicitus may have disconnected, except it doesn't appear to him that he's disconnected, so he's going to reboot his client.
So we just got word that Pupicitus was unaware of what was happening, or somehow, like there's... excuse me, he's restarting his client because there was an issue with the client, and he couldn't fix it currently, so... Yeah, so until we get this resolved, we're going to stay here and we're going to finish coverage of this match for you guys. The final match of today. We've had a few technical difficulties for a few rounds, but that's okay. We have Premium Mocto here to hang out with us.
Also, apparently, Pojo's computer is crashed, so you're alone for a second, Calimdir.
I also just got word that LocoPojo is no longer with us. It is just me. It is now my stream. I own the stream. I own the tournament, and I'm being kicked. Someone's telling me to... And we're back. It's just me. I don't own the stream. But Dr. Pringles and Pupicitus should be back soon. We have where the Pupicitus has restarted their client, And once we have that, we should be back in game for you guys. And LocoPojo is also on his way back. Unfortunately, not just going to be me anymore. And here we have a Gem Blade played, the most exciting play I've seen in the last 10 minutes. 8 damage from Mocto into DrPringles' face. And this Slay is going to come out for DrPringles. So no power drawn for DrPringles. Rise of the Challenge is something that can actually be played, but it's almost certainly just going to be Slay or this Statuary Maiden coming down. And finally, the 5th power is drawn for DrPringles. Undepleted Shadow Source. That's going to open up the possibility of Throne Warden or Mocto. Mocto can actually block either unit. And you don't really want to block the Rip Knife Assassin as it has Deadly. So this is, I think, better play than the Throne Warden, even though because Pupicitus does not have any direct damage. So the extra armor isn't super useful until DrPringles can actually get value out of the armor with a weapon. Pupicitus now trying to figure out what their options are. Drew a Dark Return, which means they can get back this Valkyrie Enforcer and attack for 3 in the air, and that gives them lethal next turn potentially. But they also can just play Interrogator, attack with the Ripjaw, see what happens, see if Harsh Rule comes out or whatever. Maybe Dark Return the Interrogator post removal. So it really depends on what they are trying to play around. But I really like the aggressive play of just playing the Enforcer. It really puts the pressure on DrPringles, who Pupicitus knows is stuck on power, and can take a gamble that DrPringles doesn't have Harsh Rule because this Mocto is played instead. But it looks like that's not what's going to happen here. We're just going to see 2 damage come out from this Rip Knife Assassin, and Mocto's actually going to just trade. So here comes the Interrogator, and back to Pringles, and that is a great draw, this Runehammer. Even though I can't get a great look at the stats on it because of the hand cam quality. So it's a 6/3, so it will only trade for 1 unit, but it still gains 3 life in addition to removing a unit thanks to armor. So I think it's perfectly fine play. A bit better than Slay, I think, just because Slay can answer more things as the game goes on, whereas Runehammer obviously only does 6 damage and can't answer something like a Tavrod. And Mocto right off of Rise of the Challenge is also a great play. 7/5 Mocto comes out and draws a card, which is actually a 5/5 die show.
Run, cowards! I mean, I'm back. I hope I'm back anyways. I've got access to 2 of our 3 different audio programs, so hopefully I am actually casting live here. Good to see you again. I'll have access to the actual game part in just a second.
Okay. So we saw DrPringles draw the 5th power, get down to Mocto, start being able to fight back. Pupicitus committed to that Gem Blade earlier that we talked about, which enabled Pringles to make some headway with that Slay, whereas had Pupicitus just gone a bit wider, it would have been a lot more difficult. But now, thanks to Rise of the Challenge, we get the Mocto back in play. Pringles gets to not even lose a card, and now a power opens up a lot. But we did see that Dark Return play that I talked about. Now that Mocto was played again, we see this Valkyrie Enforcer come back, and it's really on Pringles to have an answer to at least one of these Valkyrie Enforcers, or they are dead next turn.
Yeah,
they do
the
have
most
the
that Pringles can do is just attack in with that Mocto, and that's not looking like a great play.
Well, they have Runehammer and Throne Warden, which both and Slay, all of which get them out of this. I think Runehammer obviously is just the best play here. Slay can be used for more stuff later, as we talked about.
Yeah, he's got some potential to stay alive here, but it's going to be pretty tough. That Runehammer did actually knock a lot of hope out for Pupicitus. He's got 22 health left, so he's not in any trouble from the Mocto, and he's still got the attack in the air for the next 2 turns. But the more that Pringles draws, the better off Pringles is going to do.
Yeah, so this quarry feels kind of desperate.
Yeah,
but he can still play the sleigh, so it's fine.
He's got to find something. If he slays the flyer, that's pretty okay, and that actually stabilizes him. He's still sitting on like a full 7 or 8 cards, so as long as he picks up some power, I think he's okay. Like he can slay the 3/3, and then he's just gonna survive against Pupicitus for the next couple of turns.
Yeah, so this sort of Icaria gonna do a lot of work, and I think DrPringles has finally stabilized. There's just, ooh, okay, that Orc Interrogator is gonna go a long way. Vera's Favor can also trade here with the Mocto, but I think Pringles just has too many powerful cards in his hand now from being stuck on power for so many turns.
Yeah, that Oregon Interrogator is a big deal because it's both a threat and a new card to try and draw another threat. Picking up more power is not what Pupicitus wants to do, though.
Yeah, so DrPringles just has so many ways to answer this Interrogator, and Pupicitus just drew 2 more power and doesn't have anything. I think we're going to see this go to a game 3 very quickly once Icaria comes out next turn, and we can even see... I mean, I don't like Daisho. I think it's just going to be Slay or Maiden here, but I think Slay plays into removal less, so that's what we're going to see come down.
Yeah, we see the slave run in, and
wow,
Mocto,
that's a Mocto.
His revenge never ends. There's no escape.
So that is probably the best thing that could have happened to for Puppy there. Mocto, and then drawing into another unit, specifically Valkyrie Enforcer, just to take out an Aegis or block, get rid of a flying blocker. But I still think Pringles might just have too many good answers.
Yeah, there's a lot of rough things that can happen here. Puppy really needs Mocto to continue to be high on the revenge list. If it stays on top of the deck, then he's got a reasonable amount of shenanigans available, so that's going to be pretty helpful. But beyond that, it's going to be a little bit rough. I am not connected to DrPringles' hand, but I can see that it's still full of cards, and one of those is an Icaria, so that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, he's really debating on whether or not Valkyrie Enforcer should come down here because it, just loses to Harsh Roll, basically. I mean, when you're down to 2 threats, you really value them. But obviously, Runehammer, like a buffed Runehammer, just destroys you if you don't play both. Like, there's a lot to play around here, and it's just so hard for Puppy to make the right choice here.
Yeah, I'm generally in favor of him playing the Enforcer just to try and push the aggression there. Icaria and Mocto, birds of a feather, dying together. Oh no, it's actually not going to block there. Pupicitus is still going to attack here. He's going to force Icaria to either block or just set up. I'm not sure if there was a reason to do it that way. Like, you have to assume that the Icaria is going to block.
I like doing it that way because it gives Puppy a chance to draw Vanquish or another Enforcer or something and just attack in for 5 with Mocto, actually. But
Enforcer
now that we've got this Daisho
deal
down, it's looking very, very dire for Puppy.
Oh, yep. No Mocto on top. The Betrayer. How can he not be in the top card of the 10 possible cards that he could be in? It's the truly aReNGee has determined the course of this game.
Yeah,
DrPringles has 10 damage available, and if he's got anything left in his hand that he can pick up, it's going to be pretty devastating. He throws away a Seek Power and gets himself a little bit of extra setup, but I don't think he's got the lethal this turn unless he's got a Torch in there.
Yeah, so now DrPringles has many ways to end the game. Throne Warden just puts the game firmly out of Puppy's reach, and no matter what he draws here, he's just dead.
Mocto into Mocto?
Okay,
no,
yeah, needed to be Mocto. Needed to be double Mocto or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it'd have to be pretty brutal at that point.
See, you gotta speak in absolutes. You gotta say there's no way he could win, so that when he does, you look like an idiot and everyone's pog champing. So we're gonna get to see a game 3 after that really, really long something that occurred. So stick with us, everybody, as players get back into their sideboards, and we'll see, hopefully, get back into the game very quickly as well.
Yeah, it should be a fun time, and looks like we're good to go on everything. So yeah, we'll hopefully get that all set up.
So I still game 3, I'm favoring Dr. Pringles a little bit. I think that Pringles' deck it lines up fairly well against what Puppy's doing. However, the Sword of Icarius just aren't that great, admittingly, a lot of the time in this version with, like against Crown Watch Trader and Pending Doom, they're not that great. Against any unit that gets a weapon on it, it's not that great. But it does answer Commando and Valkyrie Enforcer, Interrogator, Rip Knife Assassin. So it's certainly not dead in the matchup by any means. But I definitely think this matchup is a bit worse than just the FJS removal pile.
Yeah, we're seeing Auric Interrogator. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a lot of like interesting options for Dr. Pringles to set up with, and I think that it's definitely going to be like, I think that list is a lot better. He had very serious power issues for the entirety of that game, so much so that like even after I had my computer like go into a reset and came back, he still was having power issues when I got there. So
Yep.
Lots and lots of issues there. It was a lot of problems altogether. And if he has similar problems next round, like anything could definitely happen. But I do think his deck is very well positioned for the late game.
Yeah, looking at his hand though, he's got 3 crests and a quarry. So it's looking pretty good for him. He had another good hand that he sent back and got an even better hand. Slay, Torch, Quarry. There's just so much good interaction, and he's already got Harsh Rule and Icaria in his hand as well. So unless Pupicitus draws something really crazy, I see this going very well for Dr. Pringles, because just a bunch of 3 power flyers for 3 that all have answers waiting for them doesn't sound super exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty rough time, and we'll see if it ends up being a big issue. Like overall, I think there's going to be it's going to be about whether or not like you can get just a consistent amount of power down and a consistent amount of threats. Both of these decks have very, very reliable cores, but they rely on sort of the heavy greed in the 4 to 5 range. And if you can actually get to that, then you're pretty good to go.
Yeah, so Recano Artisan, not a bad draw here off that Quarry. And that's gonna, Recano Artisan is actually pretty relevant in this matchup, just because it makes
bigger is better.
I mean, there's just like a lot of units that you can hit. Two Artisans puts Runehammer in, kills Tavrod. A lot of things that can happen.
Yeah, I never noticed that the premium Unseen Commando has his own speed lines. That's pretty glorious.
Oh yeah. Thunder's
right
Thighs is also moving at the speed of lightning, okay?
Yes, beautiful. All right, so Pringles is looking at only 4 power right now. His consistent, like the ability to actually get the consistent setup is going to be pretty tricky here. With the extra value he's getting off of like Auric Runehammer, that feels pretty good. And wow, that Auric Runehammer is just crazy here.
Yeah, so even with a bunch of crests and quarries, Pringle's still struggling to find that power. Hasn't found time to just play out the slays and things when they wanted to, and it's given Pupicitus enough time to actually get that critical 2 units on the board that makes Runehammer much worse. But if Pringles just gets enough power to play his Harsh Rule, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, Pringles can slay the Commando if he chooses to. He can potentially throw a Harsh Rule. He can try to like stall out a little bit longer and wait for the Harsh Rule to become active. If that happens, he's in pretty good shape. Like you don't really want to play anything on this board, and you just want a Harsh Rule. But if that happens, Pupicitus isn't going to play anything either, and you just take 6 damage, get the same 2 for 1.
No, here's the play. Here's the dream play. You just play out Statuary Maiden, all casual like, and let your opponent play all their units, and then when you Harsh Rule, you have a handful of cudgels, right? No,
Yep.
Okay, Runehammer, fine, be reasonable, I guess.
Who doesn't want to have a Caria with just the right to bear arms? It's definitely a good time if you got like a 10-10, 11-11 Icaria there. It's crazy fun.
So we're gonna see probably Harsh Rule come out now, seeing as the most of Pringle's hand is units. Doesn't really want to Harsh Rule his own units.
Yep, we see a sizable amount of stuff happening here. Like, the second Valkyrie Enforcer is not that big a deal. It means there's still a 2 for 1, and Pringles is probably pretty happy to take that 2 for 1, especially since he's setting up for an Icaria pretty quick here. He's going to attack in, clear indicator of the harsh rule, so Pupicitus will probably block here, but he also could have Avara's favor, so that might just be 2 free damage.
Let's see if he even has any in his list, and the answer is no. So yeah, Pupicitus sees that, gets harsh ruled. What can you do? Can't burn him out with, oh, well, Tavrod's not a bad draw, but there's a sleigh waiting for him on the other side.
Yeah, those horns are getting sharpened on the barrel of a gun.
Not where they want to be.
No, not so much. Seed of Glory sets up. Statuary Maiden's good to go. We have Auric Interrogator here as a potential card draw option, but Ikaria the Liberator is down on the field. And it looks like we are going to see somebody either rising up or being cut down. We'll see what Pupicitus chooses.
And yeah, wow, technically Puppy can double Vera's favor this Ikaria.
Oh, all right. Double Vera's favor is definitely a thing. I can't see the rest of his hand cam. Does he have another removal card?
DrPringles has
Oh yeah, I've got Pringles hand. I don't have Puppies at the moment.
Oh, okay. Puppy has 2 Vera's favor and an Impending Doom.
Okay, yeah, so double Vera's favor on Ikaria. Not quite what you're looking for, but as long as you're embracing the shadow, you're at least proof against the Ikaria for a turn or two.
You are just on your game today.
It's pretty interesting stuff. So we got, oh man, Impending Doom is wanted dead or very, very dead. It's wanted poster into Slay here, plus another attack off of Ikaria. That's going to be absolutely brutal.
Yeah, wow. 2 cards for DrPringles, plus 5 damage, plus 5 Warcry. Just
got to
about
be
as
the
bad
play,
as it
right?
gets.
Yeah, there we go. So all the card draw happening. Pringles is rocking and ready to go. He's got Crest of Chaos into Statuary Maiden. He gets a peek at his top card, and it turns out it's a 10-10 Mocto. Oh no, the Valkyrie are working together. It's a conspiracy of the highest order. This is very, very bad for Pupicitus.
Yeah, it seems like 15-15 Mocto now is going to surprise Puppy next turn. Even did Statuary Maiden get cast in any of the games? I think it got cast once and then
it
silenced.
might get cast in this game. No, it wouldn't get cast in this game because we're going to see a harsh roll. No, it's going to be a Ikaria into a
we can play both.
15 Mocto.
Okay,
yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
You're gonna arm Mocto, and once that happens, it's gonna be even bigger. I think Pringles is just like counting on there not being a harsh roll, but he's also super happy to have all these war cries going in.
Pringles is just Pupicitus is like, all right, top of his deck, all power. Drew a bunch of power. There's like 20 something waiting down there, but it's okay because there's a shadow source in his hand. We'll find a way to win this game. Unfortunately, that is not the case for Puppy.
Yeah. He can't run in cold blood, which is a bit unfortunate because it's actually really good in this scenario. So he's just sitting here with like a really bad series of trades available. He can either trade for the Ikaria or he can just like leave the Impending Doom up as some sort of answer. I assume he's got to block here. Like you have to take the Ikaria death when you need it, right?
I think I'm inclined to just take the damage and hope that you draw an answer to Ikaria since you have the Vera's favor. But here comes Mocto. You can't hide from 15-15 worth of stats. Recurring Nightmare, Impending Doom. That's only the 4th time I've said that. My Recurring Nightmare.
I think everyone's Recurring Nightmare is Impending Doom. No one's so scared of the actual Recurring Nightmare. It's more of an obnoxious nightmare. Recurring annoying dream.
Yep. That's more of a cold sweat.
Okay, so Mocto's got triple the fun. We got 20 points worth of Valkyries on the field here. It is just crazy town right now. The Inquisition and the Rebellion working together, having themselves a time, and it's just an absolute mess.
Pupicitus just contemplating his life choices, wondering how he got to this point. Pinging DrPringles for 1 life so that he can live through what exactly?
I don't know. I guess Statuary Maiden plus Icaria if Icaria attacks twice.
No, well, okay. So
No.
he has Gemblade available to him to play on Interrogator to draw an extra card, and then sacrifice both, or chump both units, and then maybe have something next turn that deals with 3 cards and an Aegis. I'm just not sure.
Yeah, you can't hide. There's no way. Pringles' Mocto has popped. It's not going to stop. It's just absolutely devastating here. This is a full 22 damage. And,
leave that Statue Maiden back there. Come on.
Yeah, keeping it back just to make sure that he doesn't die
Gotta
to
be safe.
some sort of surprise lethal. If Pupicitus finds like an absolutely great card here, then good stuff could happen, and we might see that if if he gets lucky. All right, so we know that Pringles has a single card in hand. Pupicitus found a Bloodletter. That's not enough, but it is something.
Yeah, Bloodletter does not even let him live through the turn, so I'm pretty sure that's just the game.
Yep.
Unless he draws not Instigator. And that is going to be the game. Pupicitus just contemplating his life for a moment, wondering why Mocto is a card.
Yeah, Statuary Maiden sitting here with a Valkyrie Honor Guard. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous at this point. We got Bloodletters and Instigators, and Pupicitus has to call it not going to advance. Pringles gets to make it into the next round.
And that is the end. There's the last match for day 1 of the ETS Season 1 2018 Invitational. So that's going to be DrPringles taking the game 2-1 over Pupicitus. So let me read out all of your 4-win players for tomorrow. We have Tin Man, Danny Boar, Faradsbro, Kang Breath, Kamado, Muxosk, Missing Toes, Second Blue, Trumpets, Tony G, HeyYu, and now joining them is Dr. Pringles, as well as Manu S, Magikarp, childroland, and Alarmadillo. So those are your players for tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be a graphic on the screen. That's going to be the end of our coverage. So we're going to hand it off to our tournament producer, Rekenner, or an organizer, Rekenner, to say a couple words and let you know about tomorrow and today.
Indeed. This is Rekenner, your tournament organizer here. We've chopped our 32-player pool down in half to 16, and then tomorrow it'll be even more cutthroat with single elimination top 16. Woo! But I'd like to thank all of the players and all of the viewers. If it wasn't for all of you, we couldn't be doing this. Putting this tournament on every week is great, especially these invitationals. They're super fun. They're a little bit less work on the backside, so I get to watch all these great matches of Eternal. I'd also like to thank Miller Tool and Teehee, our producers. Without them, we could not be putting on this broadcast. They've been putting in a lot of great work to get things ready and ready to go. We've got a little bit of new tech going in today. It hopefully has kept the between round times a little bit quicker. I'd also like to thank Mengar for our deck image creation tool, and thank you to our video editor X Kirby for his usually weekly highlights. He's been very busy, but he says he's going to get back onto those fairly soon. I'd also like to thank Counterbob for the series of deck techs and interviews we've been running in between rounds, and for spearheading our new tournament recap show, Best of 3, that runs every Tuesday at 8 p.m. This week's show will be an in-depth look into the Invitational. I'd also like to thank aReNGee himself. He's the founder of the site, the original tournament organizer, and the person responsible for a lot of behind-the-scenes work, especially as it comes to organizing the invitationals. He handles series points, invitational points, and he's been handling, getting the players ready for this event. Also, I'd like to thank Xenorath, our new TO, who's been helping us out all day. He's been causing things to run a ton more smoothly and helping out with our hand cam. And a huge thank you to our Twitch subs and Patreon backers. They make it possible for us to have our nice prize pools at our events, especially the recently doubled $500 invitational prize pool. None of this would be possible without all of you. Our $20 Patreon backers are Chuck Hurst, Andre Pokai, Seek Power Gaming, Frosty HS, Corel, Team Rankstar, David Anderson, Ryan Williams, and an honorary shout out to Why Not, aka you and me and your best friend in Twitch chat. Also like to shout out the top cheers for the week, who are Steve Washburn, you and me and your best friend again, and Cedar Bridge. And finally, you can find our Patreon at patreon.com/RNG Eternal. And a special note, we have a new emote for subs, which is the RNGE heart, which is a heart of Heart of the Vault. It's pretty cool. Sub if you want to spam it in all the other chats. And finally, thank you to our casters, LocoPojo and Gabe, aka Calimdir. Gabe, do you have anything to say?
I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out as usual. It's always fun casting. It's always fun casting with everybody here. And thank you to the RNG team and everybody for putting on all this, and to all the players for coming out. And I just, encourage everybody to come check it out, to play if you haven't, or watch if that's not your thing. Keep spreading the word about Eternal. It's really fun, and they're always adding stuff. So, get your friends into it. Get your friends playing ETS and things like that. And if you're into it, I do have a Twitter where I post that we're, doing the ETS and stuff. And you can always contact me in game or through Discord or on Reddit. And yeah, once again, thanks everybody for coming out.
All right, and LocoPojo, anything you have to say?
Yeah, thanks guys for coming out. It was really fun casting for you. And if you want to see some more of me, you can always pick me up on either Twitch or YouTube. I'm also on Twitter and Reddit and Discord and all of those delightful places if you need to get in touch with me for any reason. We are going to be doing a lot of streaming this week and the upcoming weeks. We're going to be trying to play a little bit more of this event this weekend and having a lot of fun with that. And of course, you can always just stay in touch if you want to keep up with crazy brews and other ridiculous nonsense. I also made some new emotes for my stream, so if you want to do like cool things with fun Grenadin emotes, we can certainly do a little bit of that. Sub to our channel, it'd be great. Very fun stuff. That is it for me, I think, but I'll toss it back to you, Rick Henner.
Can confirm. Pojo's new emotes are pretty great.
Oh, they're rad.
All right, once again, thank you to Gabe and LocoPojo. I know we started an hour early, so for them it was 8 in the morning. Rise and shine. So thanks again for coming out and casting all day.
Yeah, no problem.
No big deal, dude.
So once again, we have the round of 16 starting at tomorrow at 11 a.m., but we'll also have another pre-show for day 2. We're starting at 10 a.m. in round about 18 hours from now. So that will be with me, aReNGee, and Counterbob. We'll be running a little bit of an early best of 3, I guess. So that's 10 a.m. Eastern if you want to watch the pre-show. 11 a.m. Eastern with the start of the round of 16. We'll be broadcasting one match of the round of 16, and then we'll be broadcasting every single match of the round of 8 onward. Remember, it's all single elim. It's all best of 5. So tons and tons of great Eternal action tomorrow. Woo! And then, as a quick reminder, we will not be running an ETS event the weekend after. So Season 2 of the 2018 ETS will start on March 31st. Invitational points reset. Series points do not. So everyone has a fresh slate to getting into the Season 2 Invitational for Season 2. All right, and I think that is it for this week's show. Rather, sorry, for today's show, because we will obviously be back tomorrow. So, all right. Thanks once again, everyone, and have a good afternoon. Catch you tomorrow.